Hey everyone, this is Cholera, and Happy New Year if you get this before the New Year's. This is CJ Enters versus KTF Magicians. I'm joined with my man from the East Coast, Rise, and here in the first game we are going to be watching Movie versus Flash. Movie from CJ Enters and Flash from KTF. Now, Movie actually is a very interesting Protoss player. His first 4 games he played in the pro scene were all wins, believe it or not. He won against Zero, Mind, Backhoe, and Stork in a row, which is pretty darn impressive. Movie on the left side. Since then, he has lost a number of games, but overall his record before this, I believe, is 6-3. So he is definitely a very promising looking player, a new Protoss once again, maybe like a new a new Taza or what was the other guy's name, Young or something like that.
Stats.
But he's gonna be and stats and all these new weird named Protosses, but he's facing Flash, who needs no introduction. Flash, a killer of Protosses, and on Colosseum, I think he's going to be doing fine in Flashes because it is a difficult map for Protosses to win on against Terran.
Yeah, he's definitely got a little bit of an uphill battle. I mean, not to mention the fact that he's playing against Flash of all people. I mean, Flash obviously doing real well in the Pro League. I don't know what his exact rank is or anything like that, but he's been playing very well in his recent games. So I think that Movie's going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to take this from Flash, and Flash not going to put up with it, actually. Actually, what is that? Does that say the Protoss versus Terran rate is 8-3? Win rate?
Oh, I guess it's Colosseum 2. Yeah, Colosseum 1, actually,
Oh,
I'm looking up. Colosseum 1 is actually balanced. Colosseum 2 is actually a little bit favored towards Protoss. So actually, I'm sorry about that. It's Terran favorite,
Yeah, I guess
though,
he's got that
against
going
Zerg.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but lucky for Flash, he's not Zerg. Well, actually, unlucky for him, I guess.
Yeah.
And Flash, it looks like he's putting out a supply depot to do a little bit of a wall right off the bat, and that's probably a good idea. If you guys have watched or if you haven't watched the little Noni documentary that was put together, it's available on scforall.com. Check that out. Very exciting games. He actually plays a match on Colosseum against the Terran player, and you can see why there's some theory thrown in there behind it and stuff, and very interesting of why particular strategies work and don't work against the Terran player from Noni's perspective, obviously, because he was the player that they were watching over. So it looks like Flash going to do a couple of these strategies that we actually saw in that video, which is the point of me mentioning that. Also, not to mention that Noni's a foreigner who actually made it very far into the first Courage tournament. So definitely check that out, and shout out to him for getting as far as he did. I gotta say, I for one am very proud to hear that from him. So great work, Noni, coming from Rise at sc2gg.com, and maybe Collar if he agrees to. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
anyway, that's all I had to say about that.
Yeah, Noni definitely, Noni and Idra from the United States both showing so much promise. Of course, if you guys are listening to us, you probably have heard of them. It looks like we're seeing was that a 2-gate possibly from Movie? I think he put down a core and then second gateway, I believe. I might be wrong though, but he is going to go, actually no, it's probably just a single gateway then. We're seeing basically both players just, with their high APM, just getting ready to start this game off. Flash walling off here. He is in cross positions. That's going to help the Protoss player to Movie a little bit actually, because of course cross positions help Protoss in general, and that is a second gate. So I was right actually. So he's going 2-gate Dragoon here. He's going to put a lot of early pressure on Flash. Flash, if he goes for a fast expand, may be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to repair his supply depots very quickly. He's going to face a lot of pressure, and if he gets broken through, that could be a quick win. And I like this from the young kid here because you need to really do some damage in the early game against Flash. You can't let Flash grow and grow, and your best chance against someone who's better is in the early game in faster rushes. So we'll see if this works out. And Flash is indeed going for the fast expand.
That's funny because this is the exact strategy that Noni went against the Terran player. He went for 10-15 gate that he called it. 10 probes and 15 probes to make the second
10-15
one.
Gate.
Then you just
Definitely.
pop out the couple of dragoons, and then by the time you have 4 goons over there, range kicks in. Which is generally perfect timing for the tanks to come out, but Flash way ahead. He is making a bunker. He seems to know what's coming already. He did have a scout in there, so he knows exactly the bust that the new player is trying to do. And eBay going down at the expansion to try to slow down the expansion of movie a little bit, which may or may not be a good idea. Maybe a little bit of a waste of minerals because I don't know if he's, or at the very least, it's going to distract the goons from heading over to him to try to damage his wall, as you were saying, which is the point of 1015 gate. You go for that early bust. Then range comes in, you try to snipe off that tank. If you snipe off the tank, it's pretty much GG and pretty much no way that the Terran player can come back from it because there'll be 4 to 5 to 6 goons by the time you bust in the Terran player's base. By the time he can even get a second tank out, and he'll have lost a ton of SEVs in the meantime. So fast expansion going down as well for Movie, as well as Flash. So now both going to go into a little bit of a macro game. The long distance actually hurting Movie a little bit with the 10-15 gate build, I think. It's taken a long time for the goons to
Yeah.
get there, so he is not going to be successful with that, and Siege is going to be upgraded by the time he can do anything.
Yeah, very good point there. Usually it does help Terran. I'm sorry, it does help Protoss, but in this case it's helping Terran because we're seeing a fast rush here. Usually we want to see longer distances so the Protoss can expand and it's harder for Flash, the Terran, to take them out. But in this case, this 2-gate goon is not going to do too much damage, and that is going to let Flash pick up an early economic advantage. Looks like a robotics facility going down, so maybe we're going to see some Reavers coming here from Movie. Movie, of course, knows he needs to even up the game. He does not want Flash to do the Flash build, which is, of course, getting his early armory down, getting those vital attack upgrades started for his metal, and then moving out in the mid game and just rolling the Protoss player, which he just uses to absolute precision. And you know, here we're seeing the early facility. I think it would be wiser for him to go for the robotics support bay rather than the observatory. And we are seeing the armory down for Flash, so he is going to go for quote-unquote the Flash build against Protoss, and that is indeed a build that many a Protoss has lost to, and he is going to go obs first, so maybe afterwards he's going to go Reavers.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult to overcome already for Movie. Like you said, once this build is in effect, the fact that the wall did survive, he's got siege tech and everything, he's definitely ahead of Movie at this point. And once he gets a couple of upgrades up, he's going to be able to start moving out. And he's going to be ahead of Movie on the upgrades, as well as late game. So it's strong mid game, we know that. But late game, it actually gets insanely powerful when you're at about 3-2, 3-3 metal upgrades. I mean, that's when you see the crazy Terran ball that we actually talk about in another game, and it is in full effect at that point, and it's almost it's not impossible, but it is so difficult for a Protoss to stop it at that point. I mean, that is just like the apocalypse of the game for the Protoss player when that happens. It's just so difficult to stop. I mean, you got to try to do as best as you can with stasis, arbiters, and storms, and it's just very difficult to overcome. So at this point, Flash pretty much just building up. He's going to get his next factories down, coming as we see right there. And once those next couple of factories come out, he's pretty much just going to pump Goliaths, Vultures, and tanks for the duration of the build. Second expansion going up for Movie in the meantime, which is exactly what he needs to do to try to get ahead. But once again, as soon as Flash gets his second expansion up, he'll be once again ahead of Movie. So Movie fighting an uphill battle at this point, and still early in the game though, so he's still got a lot of opportunity to do that. But it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and looks like Movie does not have any troops position up front there. Also, Flash getting an early starport, maybe just for the early upgrades. Could be for a dropship also, but most likely it is for the upgrade so he can get the science facility down. But no forces up front, so he's not going to be able to stop Flash if he does a relatively early push. And meanwhile, a shuttle out, so he is going to try to do some harassment on Flash, and there is the robotic support base. So he is going to go for a relatively late Reaver drop. It might just be there, in fact, just to assist him if Flash moves out. I don't think this Reaver drop is going to do too much damage, although you never know. You know, Flash might be a little bit overconfident that he's not having to deal with Reavers, and hence might have no turrets up. Looks like we are going to see the control tower going down, so Flash is probably thinking about either I guess probably just a dropship. He's going to do dropship harassment. The distances are long, so it favors going dropships because it's harder to move your forces by land. It would be too early for a science vessel at this point, so it's most likely he's going to get a dropship or two. And Flash now moving out with his Vulture harass, going to try to do that mid-game harass and pick off a few probes.
Yeah, and he's going to do a pretty good job at it too. He's getting around all the units in the middle. So it looks like he's in a pretty good position, and he's going to put down that new expansion at the same time.
Yeah, and it's
And
a really good move there. Go on the offense, and that'll help you, expand. And that is what all StarCraft players like to do. We're seeing a pretty good defensive position here from Movie. Movie has walled off his second exit from his second natural, so that's going to make him safe from Vulture harass. Too many times we see players get harassed there, and it's just so painful because it's hard to defend that expansion, that second expansion. Flash, meanwhile, is picking up his second expansion, and double shuttle here, double trouble coming from Movie. Movie is gonna try to do a double drop here, kind of like a maybe even a frontal attack here, like a bulldog rush. Except that it's a little bit late for that, of course. But you could be trying to crack Flash here, and I don't know if that's going to work. He doesn't look like he's got enough units to really break him, even if he uses those shuttles well. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a huge kind of crazy drop that just tries to do economic damage. Where usually we don't see two shuttle drops for that purpose.
I think that Movie's making the right move, though. He's got two forges up and spinning. He is fighting that build. Oh, and the shuttle gets scouted right away by a Vulture. So that's going to be tough for Movie to execute this build at this point. But Flash, by the way, he's got two armories, so he's working on those double upgrades. Movie trying to catch up at the same time. Now he's going in from both sides with shuttles. Actually, did he have three shuttles out on the field? I don't know. Dropship going out at the same time for Flash. So this is going to be real close. And oh, that Reaver's going to get right in the base, but in range of a siege tank and taking a lot of shots right away, not doing any damage. This is going to be very bad for Movie. He's got a couple of zealots in the base, maybe going to take out one tank. Yeah, going to take out one tank, but that's going to be it. He's got a Reaver. He's in the expansion. He takes out he only takes out one SCV. He's having completely poor Scarab luck, and man, those zealots actually blocking the Scarab. So very bad for
wow.
Movie. He is now in a lot of trouble. He needed that shuttle tech to pay off, and right now it has not. Although he is going to be able to defend the shuttle, the dropship from Flash, so he's at least got that going for him. And now, oh no. Thankfully, the Goliaths don't have Terran Booster upgrades. And Flash going to lose his dropship with I don't know how many units in it. Either 4 Vultures or a tank and a couple of Vultures or whatever, but that's going to go down. And Movie actually got his fourth base up. So this is actually great for Movie. Again, there's the upgrades. He's got Templar Archives out and High Templar tech out on the field. So we're going to start seeing Storm. I'm wondering if he's going to go Arbiters as well to support it, but we haven't seen it yet.
I actually like him going for Storm first. Too many times we've seen Protoss go for Arbiters, fast Arbiters, and then lose when they fail to do a great attack with them because Storms
true.
are very effective in defense, and Arbiters need a long time to get their energy up, and then you really need your first recall to work or else you lose. Unless you're best, in which case every recall you do always wins. Because Best is just amazing with Arbiters. But not everyone is Best. Meanwhile, another speed shuttle full of maybe High Templars. It could be a Templar drop here against Flash. And Flash really, I mean, he lost a couple of SCVs, you're right. And, he didn't lose much, though. And meanwhile, both of the shuttles are still alive, though. And, looks like it's a Reaver drop. And Reaver is going to, man. But I got to say, Flash has done an immaculate job this game running his SCVs away. I mean, the previous attack, we saw basically the reason why Flash didn't lose that many SCVs is because he kept running them away from the Scarabs. And if you run your SCVs fast enough, your Scarabs will dud. And Flash is just so good at doing that. But looks like he's bringing some of them back. He's bringing them back into the mouth of the Reaver. No, run. Oh, it does. Wow. And the Reaver goes down. I think the shuttles must have gone down. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been left there to die. And the Zealots are also going to go down. So this drop has been another failure for Movie. At the same time, though, I wouldn't say he's that far behind because he's got a lot of gateway stuff. He's got 4 bases, and now he's got a Stargate, and he's been unharassed this entire game. So Flash really needs to move out and shut down one of Movie's expansions, or at least kill off some units, or else he is going to get out-macroed eventually.
Yeah, and so now that he's got the Arbiter tech out, he is going to start doing it. Oh, there are the Templar. He managed to keep one of the shuttles inside the base. Very, very sneaky man, but he's not actually able to pull anything off with that. I don't think he got any SCVs. Flash has been on top of, like you said, pulling away the SCVs at the last second, making sure that he had everything that he needed, doing everything in his power possible to make sure that the SCVs survived. And really, if you look at it from that point of view, his economy hasn't been harassed pretty much at all, with the exception exception of the units just coming off. And now we got the vultures in the field, and not going to do much damage over here. Movie actually has enough cannons here, and so those vultures are going to be pushed back very quickly, which is definitely good. Spider mines all over the place, but perfect observer timing to take care of that. So again, no issue, and all of those vultures going to go down. Not a huge loss from Flash. Vulture's probably one of the most expensible mech unit that Terran have, but still not something you want to just lose. A couple of science vessels out at this point, double starport, so it looks like he is expecting these arbiters, and he's going to be prepared with EMP, I'm sure. And looks like we're going to see some more shuttle play as well.
Yeah, I mean, these shuttles have actually been quite effective for Movie. Even though he hasn't got a great harass off, he's kept Flash back, and even Flash, the Terran machine, still has a limited number of APM. He doesn't have infinite APM, so he wasn't attacking. Like you saw in the previous harass, he wasn't moving his dropship while he was busy getting harassed himself, and he eventually lost that dropship, which could have done a lot of damage. And meanwhile, we're seeing a large amount of speed loss, so it's going to be hard for Flash to move out. The High Templar survives there. Flash was trying to target it down, but it's going to be very hard. I like this build. I like how the Protoss nowadays often wait for the Terran to come out and then crush them right when they're unsieging. And it looks like Flash is going to have some trouble moving out. This kid, Movie, is playing like he's been around for years. He's playing very, very pro, like you were saying, with the observer timing and with just the timing in general. Also protecting his new expansion with cannons and dragoons. Playing very, very just solid standard StarCraft. And a lot of times the new pros, they're good with certain builds, but they're not necessarily just overall, high quality players who can stand up to a late game. And this kid is showing that he could definitely do that. It's probably why he's been so successful recently. Another group of Flash's vultures being ineffective. And, really, I'm impressed by this kid Movie on CJ Entis. He's done very well against, the Terminator that is Flash.
Yeah, he's got great map coverage. He's all over the place, and he's doing something that most Terran players I find don't do. He's making cannons out as expansions. Time and time again, I see these guys that they put up all these expansions against someone who's heavy in vultures and particularly good with vultures as well, and they have no defense to stand up against it, and they lose all their probes. And you can see that actually lose games for pro players on a regular basis. Drives me nuts, and I can't believe that so many people don't do it. But again, Movie doing a great job of doing it, so very well done by him. Those forges not spinning at this point. If he clicks on a goon, we can see he's got +2/+2. It looks like he's in pretty good range, and +2/+2 for the metal as well. So he is completely keeping up with Flash's upgrades at this point.
Wow.
So which is huge. I mean, if the Terran is up 3-3 to like 1-0, one attack or something like that, your goons are gonna melt. I mean, they're still gonna take a lot of damage from the siege tanks, but at least at this point, they're gonna be a lot more resilient and last a lot longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And, what you're talking about, the harassment. Oh, wow, but hold that thought. Gigantic metal army coming from Flash. This is going to be a pivotal battle here pretty soon. It does not look like we're seeing the crush here coming down from Movie. Movie needs to stop this force before it sets up and slowly creeps its way towards his expansions. Movie needs to find a way to crush it while it's in transit. Otherwise, with these narrow valleys of this game, if Flash gets some tanks off, but, it manages to choke off the lower left in that choke point, then there's going to be no way for Movie to respond. That is how Flash often wins this game. Looks like first Arbiter coming out here. Oh, great EMP there by Flash. Another EMP coming down, and this is going to hurt a lot for Movie. Movie trying to go in with his Zealots. Flash has his tanks exposed, though. Does he have a second line of tanks? Great storms, though, coming from Movie. He does have a third line of tanks back there. That's going to drive Movie back. Flash did lose a lot of units there, but I think he came out ahead in that battle. I think he killed off more units than he lost. And meanwhile, he's gotten a dropship down at the upper right, trying to take down the new expansion that Movie's trying to take. He needs to take them down. He needs to go move to the bottom left. He is moving, and will Movie be able to win this game? I mean, Movie's done very, very well this entire game, but now he's facing the fury of the Flash push, and the Flash push is just so mechanical, so methodical. I mean, Flash just reminds me of the StarCraft machine. He is, the Terminator. When he's playing on top of his game, he has no emotions. He just reminds me of Terminator and Terminator 2. Only when he loses does he gain a little bit of humanity. He's like, I know now why you cry, but it is something I can never do. Right in the end of the Terminator when he says that. But Flash, has actually had some tears in his eyes in the past. So he has had some humanity. But look at this. No mercy coming from the metal machine here. Flash is bearing down. And Movie, who's played so well this entire game, looks like he's falling apart. He can't handle the Terminator that is Flash moving out.
Not at all, man. He cannot, for a couple of reasons. One, he's losing half of his unit production capability right there with what, 8 gateways that just went down? I mean, that was
Yeah,
literally, if not half, a third of his gateway count. And now, while he was able to refresh his army pretty quickly there, he wasn't after losing all those gateways. So the fact that Flash basically divided him in half and conquered as exactly you should. I mean, he's doing everything that Flash is doing everything perfect in this game at this point. Like you said, he resisted the initial harassments, and now there's not much that can be done. And oh, another EMP going off on that Arbiter who was trying to make
yeah.
some sort of move to defend that base, but it's over at this point. He has lost 2 bases simultaneously. He's down to 3 now of mining bases. His main has got to be almost mined out. His natural also very shortly gonna be mined out. Flash has only 3 bases himself, but he's just getting his 4th now, actually at the base that he just destroyed, so he's already set up defenses as well, and he is in firm control of this game. Look at the streaming units, though, for Movie as he starts to gather his forces. I think he's going to have to pull out an all-in attack at this point to try to win the game, because I don't think there's much else he can do.
There's nothing else he can do other than just win one pivotal battle and then try to fight his way back up. Oh, but not like that. High Templar getting sniped off, gets one storm off, kills some units. But, and that's the thing. I mean, what I liked about Flash was that in this game, he let Movie get to 5 bases. He let him take the lower left. He didn't panic. Some lesser Terrans would have just moved out too early without the science vessels, with the EMP, without sufficient forces. But Flash was patient. He didn't panic, even though he was a little bit behind economically. He said, "I am Flash, and I don't fear a big Protoss army." And at the end, when they were both staring each other down, Flash won it. Look at these EMPs.
Ooh.
He EMP'd some of his own, but no, I think he got almost all the Arbiters. Arbiters rendered
And the
completely
Archon.
useless. Yeah, and the Archon at no health, obviously. But, this is the kind of play that makes Flash good. And some people wonder, why am I a Flash fan? I am a big Flash fan because it is good to see perfect StarCraft. It is good to watch a player play at such high level that you could say this is the perfect build against, not just the perfect build, this is the perfect game against a very high level Protoss. And Movie, by the way, no shame to him. He did everything he could. He lost, he got EMP'd too many times in that first attack when he was trying to surround Flash, and he couldn't get those stasises off, and basically he managed to break 2 lines of tanks, but he couldn't break the last line. I thought it would have been better for him actually to commit all of his troops. He did run away at the end. I thought if he had committed all of his troops, he would have gotten more of Flash's tanks, and then Flash's push wouldn't have been as strong to the lower left, but he decided to back off, and I think that was a little bit of a mistake. But other than that, he's played great this entire game. Great expanding. He didn't let Flash harass his economy at all, but Flash just comes out at the end, and look at look at those EMPs. Those Arbiters are completely useless.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, it all comes down to what we were talking about in the beginning. This build of Flash is so powerful that if you can't take it out early, especially with an all-in build that is like a 10-15 gate, not entirely all-in, but if you can't take out this particular build of Flash early on, you're pretty much hopeless, man. If his game is on, there is no way you're
Yeah,
gonna beat him.
absolutely.
I mean, really, when he plays this build and makes the amount of mistakes that he made, which was slim to none, how do you beat it? It's just fully upgraded metal like this. The Protoss army doesn't stand a chance. Yeah,
And
even
Flash
with
has
the
immaculate
EMP.
control. Right.
It's crazy, and all those arbiters
Oh,
going
man.
down, and right there, that's going to be GG. Not that it wasn't before earlier, and Movie knows it at this point.
Yeah, Movie playing a good game. I'd like to see this kid play more in the future. Certainly, he made all the right moves. You know, he played better than, Chowringe or whatever when he was trying to play on this map against Flash. And Chowringe did kind of a similar build, but he got the crap harassed out of him by Flash, and he didn't stand a chance. This kid actually did well. He's got one Arbiter. He's got Arbiters hidden around the map so they can build up enough energy for a recall, but even that's not going to be enough to save him. He was really, really depending on that first attack to work out, and when that didn't, he just had no answer. I mean, there's nothing you could do about this huge amount of army in the middle. And, yeah, the game is completely over at this point. He's just trying to get some storms here. Not going to do enough. Not even close.
Waste of time.
Yeah, and Flash is just that kind of player where you can't let him take an advantage at all because it is so hard to come back from. I mean, even when Flash is quote-unquote slumping, he is such a danger. I mean, and he's not slumping right now. He's the 3rd best player in the Pro League, and very close to the top, obviously. He's something
the best
like 17 and 6. Yeah, he is the well. Actually, Lita is actually tied with him right now. Lita also has a very impressive record, but I would say he is better of a player than Lita is overall. He is the best Terran in the world. Um, those EMPs, man, the EMPs have been absolutely perfect from
Spot
Flash. I gotta
on.
say.
Yeah, they've been spot on. He's got all the Arbiters. He's got all the units, the Archons, the Templars, everything. And that's going to be it. I mean, those storms are kind of just like, well, I might as well do something fancy before this game's
Yeah,
over. And really, I'm just waiting for him to GG at this point because what's he going to do? Recall some probes? That's about all he's got left. And again, well
yeah.
played, but this is going to be it. And definitely Flash, certainly the best Terran player in the world. Lita playing maybe the best record, but again, quality of player. I think Flash has him beat by far. And
GG.
GG comes from movie, so well played game, both ends.
Yeah, both ends well played, but Flash showing why he is the Terminator. I just love that line in the end of the movie, though, Terminator 2. I know now why you cry, but it is something
And
I
now I am
cannot
your
do.
governor.
Yes. Flash with a big peace sign there. KTF winning the first set. We're going to be moving on to the second game, which is effort versus stats. Two new players on the scene. It could be an exciting game, though, so stay tuned. And there's some big names coming up. Savior versus Luxury in set 3. A Zerg versus Zerg that I'm sure you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and see you there.
GG.